Hey everyone, so today we are gonna see what if Jack discovers an alternate Lucifer with a new purpose. So, Jack never expected to see Lucifer again. He knew Dean had ended him, putting an end to the Archangel's chaos once and for all. But now, standing before him, was someone who looked like Lucifer yet felt different. This wasn't the cruel, power-hungry entity Jack remembered. This Lucifer seemed quieter, his eyes holding something Jack couldn't quite place, regret, maybe. Curiosity. Questions swirled in Jack's mind. Was this truly an alternate Lucifer, one who walked a different path? And if so, could this version of Lucifer help Jack find his own place in a world he often felt lost in? As the two stared each other down, Jack knew he had to find out who this Lucifer was, and what he could mean for his own journey. So, let's move in. It was the night after the day he accidentally hurt Stacy. It was the night after Elliot pushed him away and Max was scared of him. It was the night after Dean and Sam came back from the hunt and tell him that he shouldn't keep anything from them. It was the night Jack promised that he would never use his power without Sam and Dean's permission or he would someone get hurt again. It was the night he was scared of what he is now, scared of being bad or good. It was the night he sensed the other essential that was like him. It was like a struck in his dream when he saw a red figure, with a horrible face and skin, with wings. The wings were not like he had, the wings were red to the black and with scary form. It was like a monster. But the figure looked scared and confused. It, even almost crying, denying itself. Then he heard someone called, it, behind the figure. Lucifer, you need to forgive yourself. I can't. Why? Because I don't know how to. I don't even know where to begin. But what? The figure turned around, I want to, and surprisedly it slowly turned into human form. The wings were disappeared and the skin, the face, it's all changed into a man form, a completely normal guy form. The gladness and happiness sigh came, Lucifer. I think you just took the first step. The man even smiled full of relief, look at that, detective, we did it. Well, it looks like evil won't be released after all. Jack blinked with a frown and wake up in sudden. Confused with the dream or maybe the vision he just had. Lucifer, his father. His father is on Earth. The last thing he knew about his father, is Dean already killed him, and made them fight with Michael. Was it's another alternate Lucifer? And this Lucifer sounded and looked so not Lucifer he knew, not the one who manipulated him and lied to him. This Lucifer looked different. Still confusing, Jack decided to get up and took some drink. He went to the kitchen and took a bottle of milk from the refrigerator, then poured it into a glass. He heated the glass with his hand power and walked to the table. He flopped and blankly drank the milk. Lucifer. Who was he? Why he looked different from the Lucifer he knew and met before? Ah, Jack, you already wake up. Sam entered the kitchen still with his nightshirt. Can't sleep. Jack shrugged. Nah, just having a bad dream. He sipped his milk again. Sam took the intention nightmares. Wanna share? Jack stunned. Sharing about Lucifer with Sam. Wouldn't a good idea. He shook his head. No, it's fine. Jack smiled sweetly and sipped his milk again and finished it. Oh, okay. Sam nodded and he to the stove station, to make some pancakes for their breakfast. Well, good morning, kids. A cheery rasped voice came as Dean entered the kitchen, still with his sleeping robe and messy hair. Good morning, Jack smiled happily, greeted back. Dean frowned. The kid smile. Good spirit you have there, kid. He nodded and walked to the drawer, pulled some bowls and the cereal. He opened the refrigerator and took a bottle of milk. He came back with all of those and put them on the table. Dean filled the bowl with the cereal and poured it with the milk. Eat your breakfast, kid. Dean shoved the bowl to Jack. Sam watched in shock. Wait, Dean, I'm making us pancakes here, and you shoved him with an unhealthy sugar cereal. Relax, Sam, the kid wouldn't die from it, beside he likes it, let the kid eat whatever he wants. Dean grinned at Jack. What? Sam frowned, even annoyed by Dean's careless on keeping Jack healthy. I'll eat the pancakes too, Sam, Jack exclaimed to please Sam. Well, good, now he'll eat double sugar, Sam, good for you, kid. Dean smiled satisfyingly. Sam sighed and shook his head, felt so annoyed. It was later that day. Jack sat before his laptop and searched something about Lucifer. He typed the Lucifer and showed the name of Lucifer Morningstar with all the tales and story, the Lightbringer, the songwriter of the god. Well, he's not a tale, he's his father, and Jack believed he's still alive, somewhere on this earth. Jack typed again Lucifer Morningstar. And he was shocked with the result show. There's a man called Lucifer Morningstar on this earth. Jack read about this Lucifer Morningstar, and to his surprise, he lived in America and he's a millionaire who has a nightclub called The Lux. This could be interesting and he loved to meet him. What you have there, kid? Dean's voice jumped him, as the old man stepped into the library. Nothing. Jack shut the laptop right away. Dean frowned suspiciously. Nothing, huh? Yeah, it's nothing, the boy smiled came convincing. Okay. Dean just nodded, accepting, and sat across the boy, opened his laptop. He's looking for a new case to hunt. Jack couldn't stop his mind from Lucifer. He wanted to ask to Dean, but he feared it would anger Dean. Till now, he's still scared when Dean got mad. He was going to ask, but he dropped it and shut his mouth. But he needed to ask it. He was about to ask. Spit it out, kid, you look like needing a poop. Dean cut it without even looked up from his laptop and glass of wine in his hand. What? Jack stunned. No, what do you have in your angelic brain? Dean's eyes looked up at him. Huh, Jack giggled. No, I mean, yeah, he shrugged awkwardly. What? Dean waited, sipping his wine. Jack swallowed. Do you think there's another Lucifer on Earth? Dean was stunned by the question. What do you mean? He dropped the glass. Jack shrugged. Well, just a thought. If you have killed Lucifer, and I killed Michael, there wouldn't be another Lucifer and Michael on Earth, right? And why do you ask? You sensed something. Dean went anxious staring at the boy. No, Jack cut it. No, I'm not sensing anything, it's just asking. Just a wonderer. A thought. Then stop. Don't ask a silly question. There wouldn't be any Lucifer and Michael again on Earth, we killed them already, Dean assured, with stern eyes. Jack gulped. Yeah, of course. It's just a silly question, silly me, he grinned awkwardly. Sorry for asking. Yeah, Dean sipped his glass again. Jack smiled nervously. He opened his laptop again and looked at the screen. He peeked at Dean with his corner eyes. The man looked irritated with the question but tried to ignore it. Dean was back on his laptop. Jack sighed. All right, I'll go to my room. He closed the laptop again, and rose. Dean heads up. Hey, any storm? No, Jack shook his head. Just need lay a bit. Dean even curious, well, are you okay? Yeah, sure, I'm okay. Jack made a quick smile before went off to his room. Dean frowned, watched the boys acting so weird. But he shrugged anyway, kid, and turned back to his laptop. Jack entered the room and packed his stuff on his backpack. He made a small note on the bed, just like when he was to go to Vegas or Tahiti when he was sick. And thank God, he had his power back, so he didn't have to sneak out from the front door, he just flew. He put the paper on the bed, I'll be back soon and bye-bye. Dean was in the middle of something with his laptop. After didn't find any case or weird stuff, he changed his amusement into watching some great video and damn, he forgot to use the earphone. God, Dean, what are you watching? The sound was over the bunker. Sam came with an annoying face and a laptop in his hand. What? Dean jumped up and shut the video, making an innocent face. Sam cringed by Dean's face. He just sighed hopelessly, and shook his head, putting his laptop on the table, and sat. Dean felt offended. Hey, I'm looking a case here, he defended. Yeah, Sam nodded like he believed. Dean shrugged. Well, I was, but everything seems okay, nothing weird happened. Well, seemed you didn't dig deep enough. What did you find? Well, a rapper in Los Angeles was reported dead on his studio, got stabbed and bleeding so bad, but then fans uploaded the video showed the rapper was still alive. So maybe, a fake report. Or for some content. You know kids these days, Dean commented. No, the cop found the pool of the blood in his studio and the bloodfoot's trace was headed out from the studio. Yeah, maybe, he survived, not our kind of thing. Sam stunned, you think? Yeah, Dean was so sure. Sam went to think a while, but he nodded, yeah, maybe you're right. Dean nodded and back to his laptop. Sam looked around, he didn't see the Nephilim. Hey, where's Jack? He was in his room. Sleeping maybe, Dean answered, but then he remembered the disturbing question the boy was asked. Hey, Sam, do you see something odd with the kid? Sam heads up. What, Jack? No. Well, hope so, but he was asking a weird question. What question? Sam went curious. That Lucifer can maybe be still around. Sam was stunned and went aware. Around where? Here. Yeah, no, I hope not. What? Why he asked that? Sam got irritated now. Dean shrugged, no clue. But he said, he just wondering, nothing important. Sam scoffed, yeah, right. But it did disturb me. Well, he wouldn't ask if he felt nothing about it, right? I mean, it's Lucifer, we couldn't ignore that, right? Sam went to think, yeah you right, maybe if I asked him, he would share. Dean shrugged. Sam looked down to the hall, he is in the room. Dean just nodded and watched his baby brother rose and went to the hall back. Sam went to Jack's room, and knocked on the door. No answer. He knocked again, hey, Jack, are you in there? Can I come in? Still no answer. Sam decided to open the door. Luckily it wasn't locked. Jack. Sam crept in but found the room was neat and empty. And he saw a piece of paper on the bed. He took it, and read them. Sam and Dean, I'm taking off for a while. Yes, I sense something, and I need to find out. Alone. Please, don't look for me, I'll be back soon. Don't worry about me, I'll be fine. Jack. Sam shook in anger. Dean, he shouted as he left the boy's room. He's leaving. Sam stormed back to the library. Who at? Jack. Sam gave the paper to Dean and sat before his laptop. Dean read the paper. Damn it, boy. He squished the paper and pulled out his phone, tried to call Jack's cell phone. But no answer. Damn it, where he went. Dean cursed and noticed Sam was looking for something from the laptop. What you are looking for? He stood behind Sam. I'm tracking his GPS's phone. Sam immediately could found Jack's GPS phone. Both Sam and Dean watched the screen and make sure where the boy goes. But Jack seemed like a pointing place. What he's doing? Dean watched the screen curiously. I think he's flying. Sam was stunned, watching the track. What? Dean numb as well. Well, great. And he stopped, Sam told Dean, not leaving his eyes from the screen. Where is he? Dean's back to the screen. Is he on the other side of Earth? No, he's still in America, he's in Los Angeles. Los Angeles. Dean frowned. Why would he go there? Sam shrugged and shook his head. No idea. Dean sighed. Well, let's find out. I knew we can't let that boy out of our sight. We're going to Los Angeles. Dean stormed out and prepared everything. Sam was still couldn't understand. What wrong with Los Angeles, what's in there? Why Jack went there? Guess, they have to find out. He sighed and followed his brother. Los Angeles, here we come, the only city they had never come. Jack landed on the side of the street. It was already evening. Well, he could just fly straight here, but he made a couple of stops at some city to see the world. Well, this is his first time he went out this far on his own, not with Sam and Dean. Oh, the time he ran away after he killed the security guy wasn't counting, because he never goes this far. So yeah, this is his farthest he went without Dean's supervision. And he felt like an adult. Cool. Jack couldn't stop smiling. Just across from him, he could sense the essential he's looking for. He was in that building. Jack looked to the building and eyes up to see how high this building was, and wow. It's so high and looked luxurious. He's so excited. From where he stood, he could see the crowd in front of the building. They were lined up, waiting to get entered. A big bodybuilder guy stood by the gate, guarding the line. Jack wondered, what kind of place is that? Jack nodded and crossed the street, tried to get a line. He stood behind a lady with the nice black blink clothes. Her makeup was so sharp, and her lips were so bright red. And her perfume, enough makes everyone there sneeze. Jack stood for almost 30 minutes and the line still not moving. Then he decided to take a shortcut. He walked up and approached the guard. Hey, Jack greeted, waving his hand with a cheered smile. Hey, kid, the man just nodded. How long do you think I should waiting to get in? Jack asked politely. It depends. On. The guard eyeing him, head to toe. How old are you, boy? I'm T. We. NT. Y2, yes, I'm 22, Jack smiled for ensuring. The guard just went suspicious. Can I see some ID, boy? No, because it would be illegal. Well, I'm 3, actually, but no one will believe it either, right? Jack grinned innocently. The guard frowned, felt like he was being fooled. He sighed, go home, kid, before you passed your curfew. OWH, I don't have a curfew, sir, nobody knows I'm here, Jack smiled like a proud thing. The guard even shook his head. He then received a call from his radio to let some guests enter the gate. After he let 5 guests in, he was back to Jack. Look, kid, we don't wanna get trouble here, so before you get one too, I suggest you to go home, he said as try to be nice. No, I want to see my father. He's in there, Jack insisted. Yeah, like the guard would believe. Yes, I can sense it. From my dream, and I follow the sense to hear. The guard sighed, started to lose his patience. All right, cut this crap, kid. Just turn around and go home. He pointed out to the street. Jack stunned. He stared to the guard. He needed to get inside, but this guard wouldn't let him in. The guard even gave him irritated eyes. Jack could easily make a fight with the guard, but that would make somebody hurt again. No, he wouldn't cause any trouble again. He sighed and chose to back off. Jack smiled. All right. He turned away and walked off. He looked back and make sure the guard already ignore him. And with one blink, Jack disappeared and found it himself stood on the stairs inside the club. Jack gasped in shock. The room was a dim light, with funny lights, and it was full of people. They were in nice clothes, dancing and drinking. The music was so loud, and people were drowned in the music and excitement. The air was full of alcohol. He had never been to a place like this before. Dean and Sam had never taken him to a place like this. Was this they called a club? But his father's in this place. And he was one of those people who's drinking and dancing. He just needed to see him. Jack smiled full of excitement. Lucifer, Lucifer. Jack froze by that call and took the attention where an old man shouted calling. A man with a nice suit turned around for that call and the old man went to him then hugged the man with so thrilled. Jack stayed remain where he stood and watched them. We missed you so damn much. The old man exclaimed happily. He was wearing biker sweats. The suited man he hugged, looked resisting, put me down. The old man let off the hug, and smiled, forgive me, my king, he then kneeled, hey, it's so glad to see you. He kissed the hands man, then stood up. The suited man was still looked confused but guessed he recognized the old guy. Dromos. The old guy smiled wide and he turned his head see, squee, I told you, he will recognize me. The suited man even didn't believe what he saw. What are you doing here? We are here for you, of course to get you back home the old man answered. Jack stunned, that's him. The man he hugged, is Lucifer, his father. He smiled so thrilled and was about to approach them when the suited man stared at the old man with a frown and dislike. Jack held up and watched the two men sat down on the circle couch. The old man who Jack knew now was a demon, sat with two women on his both side and the suited man who was called Lucifer sat across the demon, like listening to his babbles. Jack stood where he was and listened them. So there I am, hanging hell popping out eyeballs like any other Tuesday, and this priest he just shows up on my docket, the demon told the story like a proud thing. Is this one of those, priest walks into a bar, jokes? I love them, said one of the women beside the demon. Dude was boring, the demon continued. I mean, all he kept saying was prophecy this, prophecy that. I've got a stupid accent. Makes me sound like a pirate, arg. He laughed. Anyway, he says that he needs help getting you back to hell, so of course Dromos, ever loyal he proud himself, I did not hesitate. I came straight here to answer your call. Lucifer laughed got irritated, did not believe what he just heard. Of course this is Kinley's Hail Mary. His final attempt to subvert the prophecy by tricking me into returning. He laughed again, voluntarily. He laughed mockingly. Well, it's an admirable plan, but he needn't have bothered. I've just beaten the prophecy on my own. Beside no way in hell I'd return to well you know he sipped his glass, he didn't want to say it. Lucifer, you've been on vacation forever, the demon was like reminding him. You didn't write, you didn't call. You didn't even send a burnt offering. The demons of hell they need a king, he sounded desperate. Very well, Lucifer nodded. He stared to the demon, Dromos of the Lilim, by the power of Grayskull, blah-de-blah-de-blah, I hereby name you king of hell. There you go, throne's all yours, Lucifer smiled like it was nothing. Demons laughed now, felt offended, yeah, that's really funny. But we all know that the king he needs to be an angel. Lucifer bit his lips, and nodded, fair point, yeah how he forgot that. Lucifer, hell has been really bad since you left, the demon tried to insist on him. Oh, that's a shame, because it was a real vacation destination before. Lucifer was still mocking the demon. What's so great about the earth, anyway? The demon tried to understand. Well, no offense, but the company's far greater, the work more interesting, and the liquor far superior. Lucifer sipped again. And I've just become an uncle and someone needs to teach my nephew about sex, because my brother's certainly not capable. So back to hell you go, it seems. Those eyeballs won't pop themselves out. He rose as he now had lost his patient and wanted to kick the demon out of his sight. The demon followed rise to stand. All right, I think we might stay for a little bit, he thought. I've never tortured a live one. That last line triggered the king. Lucifer grasped the demon's shoulder tight, and pushed him down hard. You will not lay hand on anyone. You're lucky I haven't incinerated you already for disobeying my orders. No more possession. Time for all good demons to go home. Now. Jack froze with the sudden changing of Lucifer's act and voice, and he was sure Lucifer's eyes were turned red as he threatened the demon. Just like Lucifer he knew with those red eyes. It was really him. The demon shocked and just nodded in annoyance. Yes, my lord. Lucifer nodded and tapped the demon gently. Jack watched the demon rose and left the club in anger. What an interesting conversation between Lucifer and the demon. Dean will lose it. Jack looked back to Lucifer. The tall man really looked angry now, but he tried to control it. He felt discomfort, and on edge. The man emptied his glass, then walked off to the side of the wall. Jack sensed something familiar with that man. Jack followed the man. He saw the man get into the elevator, and went inside. Jack still could see the stressed face of the man. Not the Lucifer's face he was supposed to see. Jack told himself as he was thinking, would be the right time to meet him now, in his state. He didn't know the man, but he could sense the softness and the superior at the same time, on the man. He looked confused and angry. Jack wanted to help him, to make him a little better. He sighed and decided to go up by the elevator. It needed a few seconds before the bright cubicle stopped with a ding sound and the door was opened. It was a large lavish room, but it looks like a place to live. With the nice couch and piano. Jack was right away eye to eye with the Lucifer himself who had stared at him suspiciously. Hello, Jack tried to greet politely. The man looked like a mess now stood by his bar, taking another glass of wine. Well, Jack noticed now, he had a drinking habit like Dean. Well, hello, who are you? Lucifer smirked evilly to the strange boy with his sharp and aware eyes. Are you a demon too? He knew he just met demons in the club, so there's possible another demon would follow him up. No, I'm not a demon, Jack raised his hands. And you can see, I am not. The boy's answer only made Lucifer even curious. How did you know about the demon? Lucifer was even aware. Does anybody know about his celestial identity? Jack gasped in shock as suddenly the man unpinned him to the wall aside the elevator door. Who are you? Lucifer starred him deep with a growling voice, pressing the boy's soft eyes. The sharp maze's blade was already touched the boy's neck skin. He was ready to explode this shit. He felt so threatened now. Jack gulped on the strong hands. The perfume smells so good, but the rage really fears him. He was ready to expel the truth, but those eyes made him hesitate, and his British accent almost intimidates him. Tell me, or I slit your young flesh. Lucifer's eyes turned red, pressed the blade on the skin. He's really not in the mood for playing around. I'm Jack, I'm your son, Jack answered holding his breath, and ready for some explosions. And the blade might hurt me, but it will not kill me, he added. The words stunned Lucifer. My son, but he right away laughed at it. He felt so full now, got easily played like this. He felt so offended now. Lucifer smirked with disbelief and stared at the boy angrily. You wish I would believe it. Aha, try another. He laughed mockingly, kept pressing the boy on the wall. I am, Jack replayed softly, didn't leave his father's eyes. He decided to show his true eyes on him. Lucifer was stunned as he saw both boys' eyes, turned into sparkling light yellow, so beautiful. Your eyes? Yes, I'm a Nephilim, I'm half angel half human and my father is Lucifer. I'm your son of Lucifer, Jack told him. Lucifer froze and let go of the boy, he stepped back. He went numb and looked at the boy. Wings, do you have wings? He asked panicked. Yes, I have, Jack nodded. He walked forward to make a better space before he spread his angelic wings with the yellow light surrounded him. Lucifer dropped his jaw in shock. Those beautiful lights. He's really a celestial being like Charlie. No way, but he still tried to deny. This possible coincidence that happened now was too suspicious. Too good to be accepted. He has a son, not that he didn't think could have. Well, with so many women he slept with, there's a possibility, but it never happened before. So why now, when Charlie has born? And this boy, how old is he? 17-18 years. Wait, who was I slept, 18 years ago? He tried to rewind his memory. Jack read the confusing Lucifer's face. Yes, it's a lot of explanation, I know, but I'll try. He tried to understand his father's panicking. No, it must be planned. Lucifer kept denying it. Dear Heavenly Dad, Lucifer shouted with heads up like talking to the upstairs. Jack looked up in confusion. Did he really talk to God? I know you really want to get me back to hell. You even sent a bunch of demons, but send NG a fake innocent boy as my son, huh, it's really lame, Dad. Lucifer laughed, mocking angrily. No, Jack cut off. I was not sent by anyone. I swear, I came on my will. I want to meet you, I want to see you, he insisted. He realized, this Lucifer was crazier than the previous he knew. Lucifer looked at him with curiosity. Why? What do you want? Who's your mother? And how did you find me? He asked intensely. Jack swallowed hard. Well, it will be a long explanation, but if you let me. Lucifer went thinking. He looked to the boy. He studied him from head to toe. The jeans, the shirt, the pale jacket, the backpack and the not stylish haircut. He looked innocent and naive, but it still could be a trick. He sighed. Wait, he stepped to the boy, stared him deeply in the eyes. Tell me, what is your really desire? Lucifer smiled evilly but with temptiness. Jack froze with the deep stared. He went to think, what he was supposed to say. The real one, or the one that Lucifer wants to hear. So he just stared back. Lucifer gasped as seconds passed and the boy didn't take the mind truth. He was like the detective. Is he real? His? Jack swallowed. I just want to be good. No matter who my father and who I am, I believe I can be good. Lucifer was stunned by the answer. Are you desperate to be good? He asked with concern now. Yes, since I was born, Jack nodded. Well, he told the truth. Lucifer went silent. Well, hello, so he's just like me. He stared at the boy. Maybe he was something. He would give the boy a chance. Lucifer let go of the boy and stepped back. Be my guest, tell me who you are and how you are possible my son. Lucifer's face went soft and turned around, walked back to the bar. Sit, wherever you like, he waved his hand. Jack nodded and smiled gladly. Well, this would be a long night to tell the story. Jack spent the night telling the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. From when he was born, who's his mother, who's his father, and what he had been through. His father sat across him elegantly, interestingly listened to Jack, whether he would believe it or not. But hoped he would. Wait, you make me confuse here. Lucifer cut the boy's story. At first, he did follow the boy's story patiently, but then he got spinning with it. You said you are the son of Lucifer, but you are not my son. Jack shook his head. Yes, 'cause I've already met Lucifer, my father, and he's not you, and he's dead now. Dean killed it. Jack nodded, affirmed. Lucifer even frowned. And how this Lucifer looks like? He's a bit curious. He's blonde, tall, and manipulating. Lucifer smirked, exciting, interesting. I want to meet that guy. And he's selfish and a liar, Jack added, remembering his father. Wait, no, Lucifer cut off, felt offended. Lucifer never lies, he protested. I never lie in my whole life, he confirmed hard. Yes, of course, Jack swallowed hard. Lucifer sighed. Oak, let me put this mix and max the unmake sense story of yours. He nodded. So you said there's another celestial world a part of this now? Yes, I think it is like that. We call it the alternate universe. I've been there, the other of this universe. I met the mean Michael who killed humans. Lucifer a bit shocked. Michael? The mean Michael? Well, he's a bit annoying actually, he couldn't lie. He's my twin brother. And where is he now? Lucifer was scared if this Michael is the same Michael he knew. Jack bit his lips. I've killed him. He hurts the people I loved and I cared, and he meant nothing but to kill the all-human. Lucifer a bit smirked and sighed. Well, I can imagine that. But the last time I checked, Michael is still in heaven, desperately acts like a good son, he snorted in disgust. Jack nodded. Yes, there's another universe in this world. That's why I sense you're existent, even I believe Lucifer and Michael are already dead. Lucifer went to think, but why? Did God just make that? Jack just shrugged, he didn't know for sure. Of course he did, Lucifer rolled his eyes. Have you met God? He asked the boy curiously. Jack shook his head. No, but I have been in heaven and met my late mother. I was dead for a while, but then Dean and Sam brought me back to life. Lucifer just smiled a little, with the story, not sure he should believe it or not. All this story still didn't feel right. And your mother is Kelly Klein, the personal secretary of the President of the United States. Yes, Jack nodded. Lucifer sighed. Well, respect, I would never touch the president's girl. And you are 3 years old? Yes. My mother said the world is so dangerous, so I have grown up fast. Lucifer nodded. Yes, that's true, but yet it's very fascinating too, he affirmed. And you live with some brothers named Dean and Sam Winchester, who worked as a hunter. Yes, I'm a hunter too, Jack smiled proudly. We killed monsters and the weird things like vampire, rougarou, werewolf. Lucifer smiled. Yeah, it sounds like a cool TV show. He sipped his wine. No, it's not a TV show, Jack cut it. Oh, and I killed Demon too, he smiled casually. Demon, Lucifer stunned, almost choked by his wine. How you killed the demon? By blade. No, by exorcism, and now I can kill them with my power too, Jack smiled. Lucifer swallowed hard. Then you shouldn't meet Mazikeen. He studied the boy again and tried to absorb the whole story again. It really doesn't make sense, but the boy was here now. And why did you look out for me? Jack bit his lips. Because I saw your true form, and I felt your desperation of being good. I want to be good too. Since I killed Michael and absorbed his power, I felt nothing but emptiness. But I don't want to disappoint Sam and Dean, who had always been there for me since I was born, and tried to trust in me. But I know, Dean is still scared of me, he's afraid I might turn bad, well, I afraid too. I want to be good, I don't want to bad, I tried, but I guess everything I did just make somebody hurt. I've accidentally killed a security guy and I hurt my new friend. I'm so scared that I would hurt people again. That's why I want to meet you, and maybe can help me. Lucifer lost his words. The boy was just like him, they shared pain of morality and desperately wanted to be good, against their fate. Well, if you can see me, I'm on that path too, Kid Lucifer inhaled, try to control his feeling. I try and pushing my whole power just how to be good, 'cause being good it felt so great, you know, but the more I try the more test I got, he sipped his wine again. Just like I'm dealing now. I don't know are you one of my tests, but the demons that walked on earth now definitely are my test. You mean the demon you were talked with, earlier? You knew. Lucifer went suspicious again. I heard you talking with that old man wearing biker suits. Lucifer accepted. Yes, that stupid demon was brought by a stupid priest who believes the evil shall be released when the devil finds his first love, he told the boy. Jack bit his lips. Absorbed them. The devil. Definitely me, Lucifer added with guilty. And your first love is? Jack paid attention. Eve, like Adam and Eve. Yes. Have you find her? Find her. We were getting back together, she lived here. Lucifer almost shouted, as if it was a big mistake. But not anymore, I've already asked her to leave. I don't know where is she now, he corrected right away. So, there wouldn't be any trouble, right? I hope so. But now there's a bunch of demons who walked on Earth, don't know what they're going to do, and refuse to go back to hell. Honestly, that scared me. I scared they might hurt people. And I will be so pissed if they ever dare lay a hand on human, Lucifer gritted his teeth in anger. But hey, maybe you can help me, handling them if they off the leash, he stared at Jack. Jack was stunned but he nodded. I love to help, with a sweet smile. Wonderful. Lucifer smiled gladly. Alright, you can stay. You can sleep on the couch. But don't you dare droll on it, it's a fine Italian coach and it costs so much money. Jack looked at the couch and nodded. I don't sleep much. OWH, you don't? He surprised. Very well then, but I need to sleep, he smiled admitting. My head's ready to explode with all of this. Harg, he sued up and walked off. Oh, I forgot, you probably will meet your cousin. Jack stunned. My cousin? Yes, Charlie. He's Nephilim too, still a baby though, but you will get along with him. Lucifer smiled and went to his room. Jack smiled even happier. He sighed full of relief. He never thought this would this easy, this Lucifer accepting him. Well, maybe he's not totally believed and take his story, but then who will anyway? At least this Lucifer was letting him stay and get to know him more, or maybe they can help each other. Maybe he could relax now. He then remembered his cell phone. He checked it, and found 50 missed calls and 20 messages from Sam and Dean. The texts were saying, "Where are you, Jack? Jack, we know you're in Los Angeles. Jack, what's on in Los Angeles? Jack, sit tight, we're coming to you." Jack just sighed. He closed the phone and put it back in his jacket. I'm sorry, guys, but you will find me anyway. He smiled and laid his body on the couch. Sleep or not sleeping, he's relaxing now. Maybe he could have a nice dream. SPN LCF. Sam sighed anxious as the call he made to Jack was failed again. The boy wasn't answer it. And still no text replay from him. Dean behind the wheel give a small sight, still no respond. Sam shook his head. Do you think he followed a case? The rapper case? Dean shrugged. Hey, I don't know what on his mind lately. He's unpredictable now. Sam swallowed. Hope he didn't do anything fool. He looked again the GPS. Jack was on some place, and it hasn't moving. So he was still there. How far are we? To LA. 23 hours. Drive faster, Sam commanded. Dean took sight of his brother, and Sam meant it. Dean sighed, then pushed babies full speed. SPN LCF. It wasn't long when he heard a ding, and the elevator's doors were opened, woke Jack up. Somebody's coming. He's stunned. Wait, Dean and Sam are already here. So fast. Lucifer. A voice called before Jack looked up. But wait, it's a woman's voice. Jack sat up and looked who's coming. There are two women stormed in, calling Lucifer. Jack recognized the one woman. One of them spotted him. Who are you? She asked. Jack smiled. He knew this woman. She was in his dream too, the woman who with Lucifer. Lucifer. The other woman didn't aware of Jack's presence and kept looking out Lucifer. She went to Lucifer's bedroom where she found the big guy was sleeping. The woman who spotted Jack sighed and went along to the room. Jack followed behind them. Lucifer. The woman who wore the black leather suit was still trying to wake Lucifer up. It needed time before Lucifer finally opened his eyes. And saw Mazaikin and Detective stood by his bed, waking him up. Am I dreaming? Lucifer gasped, waking up. Oh, no, I can't be, you're both dressed. He spotted the boy stood not far behind them. And the boys is here, he sighed hopelessly. Both Chloe and Mazaikin looked behind and saw a strange boy stood with a smile. Mazaikin frowns, and who is he? I'm Jack. Jack waved his hand with a sweet smile. The two women frowned with a question, looked to Lucifer. Lucifer swallowed. But then he stopped, looked at the boy. Never mind, he guessed Maze and Chloe wouldn't believe if he told them. He's somebody's offspring. Mazaikin was back to Lucifer. We've got a situation. Demons are roaming the earth, Maze told him. Lucifer made a shocking face. Oh, is that all? He sighed, disappointed, like he was waking up for something new and urgent. Well, we already know. I saw them earlier. Both Mazaikin and Chloe a bit shocked. Yeah, me and Jack. Lucifer pointed to the boy. It seems Kinley summoned them to take me back to hell. His last-ditch attempt to squash the prophecy. But don't worry, crisis averted. I sent them packing. Chloe went curious. Did he know? You are. Yes, so don't worry about it. Lucifer with no doubt. And besides, the demons in question, Dromos and Squee, hardly the brightest bulbs in the hellfire chandelier. Mazaikin shook her head for annoyed. Knowing these demons, I hate these two. Especially Squee. Well, everyone hates Squee. Lucifer affirmed. Anyway, I'm getting my knives. I case those two idiots get lost on their way home. Mazaikin went to her storage. You do that. Lucifer rose from his bed, and went to his piano, pouring his wine. Jack was still not saying anything. He just stood there and watching them. Chloe looked to the boy again, still curious who's this boy, but she turned to Lucifer, and sighed. Lucifer, what if we're wrong? What if we're wrong about the prophecy and evil shall be released really means that demons are going to be running around? You know, maybe you should leave town until we figure this out. I assure you, there's no need for me to flee, and how did Maze rope you into this, anyway? Chloe bit her lips. I ran into her. Sort of. Following a lead about Kinley. Lucifer stunned. Without me. He felt left out now. Chloe nodded. Yeah, I was afraid. Of what he might trigger in you. Afraid he might turn me back into a monster, Lucifer accused, withing looking at Jack. Yes, Chloe admitted, but then she corrected, number. There's no need for you to explain. I get it. Lucifer really felt so offended now for being distrustful. Perhaps you should leave, detective. I mean, you never know what might be triggered. Chloe's phone buzzed for a text coming. She read it and her face went pale. We need to go to Linda's. Now. Lucifer frowned, but he read the detective's face. Something serious happened with Linda. Jack, you are coming too. Jack smiled, beamed in happiness. He nodded, ready to get involved. But Chloe stopped him. Wait, please tell me, who are you? I'm Jack. Jack smiled, insisting. Yes, and how did you know about this? Chloe asked suspiciously. He looked to Lucifer. Did you tell him? I didn't. Lucifer looked at both Chloe and Jack was like asking for him to explain. He sighed. He's my son, he's half human and half angel sort of. What? Chloe turned to Lucifer in shock. Not at that literally, Lucifer almost protested with Chloe shocked. Well, he's the son of Lucifer, but not Lucifer me. How did I explain this? Chloe frowned, not quite understand. Lucifer sighed confusing. I know it's hard to explain, but can we continue this later? We have something more important, detective, we have to go to Linda's now, he insisted. Chloe looked at her text, and looked to the boy who was still smiling. Well, fine, come on, Maisie. She stormed to the elevator. No wasted time, they all together went to Linda's house. When they all got there, the police were already there gathering the information and evidence. They found Linda crying. Maze right away went to the poor lady with concern. What happened? Linda whimpered shakingly, Charlie, he's gone. Lucifer and Mazikeen shocked by the news. Someone took baby Charlie. Jack bit his lips. Charlie is my cousin. He looked to Lucifer and the detective worried face. Well, he wouldn't expect that he would be on a case, a family case. What a coincidence. They did the investigation and the search. There a fact that the night nurse didn't come last night due to the last minute's cancellation by the baby's family. But Linda, the baby's mother, never made the call, so she believed it was Amenadiel who called the agency and cancelled the nurse as he wanted to spend more time with the baby, and she believed he took the baby for a walk or something like that. Later Jack knows, Amenadiel was the father of the baby. Okay. I'm sure they're somewhere safe and sound, right? Linda kept believing. Yeah, right, Chloe nodded, comforting the scared mother. Linda, there's something I think I need to tell you, Lucifer spoke up in a hesitant voice. Linda looked up to Lucifer. The good news, I think you're right, I think Amenadiel does have the child safe. The bad news is, I think it my least favorite place, heaven. Lucifer's eyes went full of concern. Linda paled to think her baby has. Are you trying to tell me, my Charlie is? Oh, no, Lucifer cut her soft. No, of course not, he chuckled. That baby is half angelic. He can come and go freely, he just needs someone to bring him. Linda went to think, so Amenadiel took our baby from me to live in Heave. I'll kill him, Mazikeen hissed in anger. Lucifer sighed, I'm so sorry, Linda. I mean, I should have gleaned Amenadiel's attention earlier. I think he was trying to tell me in the hospital, and I thought we were having a conversation about turtlenecks versus crewnecks. Well, it is any consolation, I do think Amenadiel is simply trying to keep Charlie safe. Lucifer was really trying to keep Linda calm. Jack just stood there, listening to them. It was not long when a man came with a confused face. Hey! How could you? Linda screamed and hit the man frantically. You go back and get him. You go back, Linda cried over the man's chest. The man frowned and didn't understand. What are you talking about? Go, right now. Jack swallowed and looked at the man. So this is Amenadiel. The big man looked around and noticed something. Wait a minute, he's not here. No, because you took him up there. The poor mother was still weeping. No, I swear, Linda, I didn't, he insisted to her, but needed to reveal something. Look, I was going to, but then I couldn't. What you said to me, right before you went to sleep, I was just confused and I just need to clear my head, so I decided to go for a walk, but then I handed Charlie to the night nurse, the man explained. The nurse never came to the house. Amenadiel, the detective stepped in. What? Amenadiel paled. Yes, she was. She was rocking Charlie to sleep when I left. Chloe showed a picture from her phone to the man. Is that the woman you handed Charlie off to? Amenadiel looked at the picture and paled again. No, that's not her. Everyone dropped the jaw. So it's fixed now. Somebody had kidnapped the baby. That might be his cousin. Jack gulped. Well, how can he help now? So what do we do now? How can I help? Jack braved up to ask. The big man looked at him and frowned. And who are you? What are you doing in Linda's house? Linda looked at Jack too. She didn't even notice there's a stranger young boy at her house, in this situation. Jack smiled nervously. I'm Jack, he's my son, Amenadiel. Lucifer took over. Somehow, he's the son of Lucifer. He's half angel half human too, like Charlie. Amenadiel even frowned. What? I don't know, guess father is playing with us again. Amenadiel shook his head then turned to Jack. Prove it, boy. How? Jack asked flawlessly. Show me your celestial sign. Jack looked at Lucifer for approval, and the tall man nodded. Jack nodded. He sighed and slowly spread his wings wide. A golden light covering his body as he turned his eyes into beautiful sparkle gold eyes. Thank God, there's no cops or civilians with them here, so he could freely show them. The big man and the three women froze astonished by the boy's form. The big man looked at Lucifer with shock. He's really your... Lucifer just nodded. But how? Amenadiel looked questioning Lucifer. I don't know. As I said, Father is playing with us. He makes another alternate universe that we existed in. So there's another Lucifer and he had a child with a mortal woman and this the child, the Nephilim. Lucifer made a fast explanation. What? So this means Charlie is like him, with these celestial identities. Amenadiel looked at the wings once again, before the boys shut them slowly and back into his normal young boy form. Yeah, Lucifer nodded for sure. Chloe dropped her jaw, and wondered, if she had a baby with Lucifer, the baby will be like this boy. Wait, so there's another me too out there? Amenadiel asked the boy. No, Jack cut him softly. I'm sorry, but we haven't seen you before, you do not exist. It's just, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Castiel, he told them with a smile. What? Amenadiel frowned again. How come there's no me? I'm an angel too, Lucifer's brother, his siblings, he protested. Jack shook his head. I don't know. And we had a mean Lucifer and Michael, so we killed them. Yeah, I killed Michael, and Dean killed Lucifer. Oh, Dean is my caretaker, my family. Jack smiled again. Amenadiel rolled his eyes, felt so spinning and confused. It didn't make sense. Linda looked at them in frown, especially with the young boy. Her mind went to Charlie, that he could be like this boy, that's so wonderful, but where's her baby now? Guys, I know this is fascinating, with the family reunion and the whole story, she trembled. But I believe we should find Charlie first, who took my baby. She yelled in anger and desperation and cried again. We will find him, Linda, we'll find him, Chloe soothed the mother. Mazikeen hugged Linda for comfort. Right in time, the detective's cell phone rang. She picked up right away. Yes, Dan. Hey, Chloe, we tracked the call to the agency. The one canceling the nurse. The phone is registered to one Lila Claiborne. SWAT is on their way to her apartment right now. Okay, Chloe responded. Will you send over a photo of Lila? I want to confirm with Amenadiel that it's the same person that took the baby. Of course, Dan replayed. Hey, and Chloe Ella's voice came. Could you tell Linda and Amenadiel that everyone here is praying for P pulling for them? Okay, thanks, Chloe responded and called off. It wasn't long when there's a photo sent to the detective's phone. Amenadiel, she showed it to the big man. The big man nodded. That's her. Lucifer looked at the photo. He approached the detective. That's Lila. That's who's got Charlie. Chloe nodded to confirm. Detective, I saw her last night in Lux. I think I know who has the baby. Jack came along to the police station with Lucifer and the detective to follow the search of baby Charlie. The big man, Amenadiel, had tried to hold Jack with him as he wanted to know everything about Jack as a Nephilim. It was so clearly the man had zero experience about this. He even thought Charlie, the half-angel and half-human, would never exist, so he knew nothing about the Nephilim and how to raise it. It was his first thing for the big guy. Jack didn't know how to explain everything about him, as he was still learning what he is now. Maybe Amenadiel needed to talk to Dean or Sam, and share how to handle the thing and raise a Nephilim. They should meet then. And thank God, Lucifer and the detective had to go back to the police station, so Jack came along as he didn't want to get any far from this tall man. He needed to be right by his father's side and watched him closely. SWAT just cleared Lila's apartment, Daniel informed them as they gathered at the meeting room. What about Lila? Chloe asked. She's not there either, but there is a big pool of blood in the bedroom, Daniel answered. Chloe sighed and saw the crime scene photo, another blood pool without a body. Daniel groaned. I still can't find any connection between Kinley, Holloway, or Lila Claiborne, though. Okay, maybe Kinley brainwashed the other two like he did that Los Exes guy, remember? Ella spoke. That's a really weird choice of minions, but yeah, maybe, Daniel responded. And maybe, we'll get a hit on the APB we put on, Chloe continued. Lucifer, who observed their brainstorming, went to think. Detective, a word, please. He made a sign to speak and walked out from the meeting room. Excuse me. Chloe excused and followed Lucifer out. Lucifer cleared his throat as they were out of the room. Detective, another blood pool and no body, means another demon. Yeah, Chloe noticed that. Should we just tell Dan and Elle the truth about who or what these kidnappers really are, you know? I mean, the more teammates playing the real game, the better, right? She desperately suggested. No, Lucifer sighed, disagreeing. They'll never believe us, he chuckled. I mean, not unless I show them, and you certainly know how long it takes to recover, or not recover from that. Yes, Chloe nodded, admitted it. Well, back at the penthouse, I was trying to tell you that I'm not. Detective, I can't believe I'm saying this, Lucifer cut her. But there are more important things than me right now. He took a sight of Jack, who sat politely on the chair not far from them with his backpack on his lap, like another good station visitor. Okay, Chloe agreed. All right, then we need to figure out why Demon Kinley and his crew would take Charlie. Well, it's clearly all about me, Lucifer realized that. I mean, I ordered them to go home, and they got angry, and they're doing this to get back at me. How do we find 3 demons and a baby? Chloe almost lost her patience, right? A colleague passed them and heard what they were talking about. 3 demons and a baby, Lucifer stepped up right away with an awkward smile to their colleague. That's one of my favorite movies, he and Chloe chuckled, not as good as the original, though, he still chuckled. No, so true, Chloe responded awkwardly, looked at their colleague. Why don't we go back to my penthouse where we can strategize freely? Lucifer continued. Jack, let's go home, boy. Lucifer walked off. Yeah, Chloe agreed and followed Lucifer. Jack stood up by the call and followed them up. Dean parked the Impala in the basement. They were finally here. They touched LA, and they went straight to Jack's GPS. So, this is the place. Dean turned off the engine, and sighed in relief, at least his baby can have a rest. It was really a long road. He pushed his baby into the limit to make them here less than 20 hours. Damn. Yeah, that's what this GPS told us. Sam looked at the tablet and made sure Jack's GPS again. He's here, in this building. Dean looked around them. He didn't know what this building was, but by the look of the parking cars, they were all fancy ones, so this must be a fancy building too. What the hell is the kid doing here? Let's find out what the squirt is doing here. Dean stepped out from the car. Sam followed his brother out and stretched his long legs. He felt so cramped, being stuck in the car for hours, not even having stopped for once, just to catch Jack as quickly as possible. And it's really good, he finally got out of the car. Dean swept his gaze in alertness before walking to the nearest elevator. Sam walked behind his brother. Sam, Dean, they froze with the call, and the voice before they reached the elevator. Is it? Sam looked over and froze a moment to see the kid right behind him. Jack, he smiled gladly to see Jack in good sight. The kid ran little to them with a big smile. You guys made it. I know you will find me, guys. He smiled wide. Yeah, and it took hours, kid, to get to you. Dean's anger rushed up seeing the kid smiled wide as he did nothing wrong that made them worried in hell. Jack, what the hell are you doing, taking off like that? He stormed out and glared at the boy in rage. Jack gasped in fear by the Dean's eyes. I'm sorry, but I need to go, he pleaded for understanding. Well, we're going home, kid, Dean stated sternly and grabbed Jack's arms. Wait, Dean, Sam stopped his brother. It doesn't have to be this rough. Stop there, don't harm the boy. A man with a British accent interrupted them. Both Sam and Dean looked up. It was a tall man, with a nice fancy suit, with a woman with messy hair and pale face but had a strong jaw. They noticed the police badge on the woman's waist. Okay, there's a real cop here. No need to pretend to be anything else. Release my son, the man stated in and with a stern voice. Dean froze and looked at the man. What you said, your son? Yes, the man nodded firmly. My son. Dean looked at Jack for the explanation, Sam as well. Jack swallowed hard. He looked at the 3 men. Sam, Dean, this is Lucifer, Lucifer Morningstar, and Detective Chloe Decker. And father, he looked at the tall man. These are Sam and Dean Winchester, the brother who's taking care of me. Jack nodded with anticipation by the shocking news for the brothers. Lucifer studied the 2 men, one was short and one was taller as him. Both wore shirts, flannel, jeans, and jacket, and both carried the duffel bag. And the short one grasped Jack's arms. He looked like an angry dog, like a strict dad. This guy who's taking care of my boy. Both Sam and Dean froze with disbelief. But then Dean snorted a little. You gotta be kidding me. You are not Lucifer. Oh yes, I am. How dare you tell me that I'm not Lucifer? The tall man stared at Dean, intimidating him. Because, he's a careless dick, blonde and almost like a homeless guy. Yes, that's the Lucifer you had killed, Dean. But this is the other Lucifer, Jack told him. Dean bit his lips and looked at Jack. You mean there's another alternate universe again? He shocked. I don't know. I just found it yesterday, Jack shrugged. Dean gulped. OWH, you gotta be kidding me. He looked at Sam, who was now paled to see Lucifer again. Suddenly Dean swore his angel blade out and pointed to Lucifer's chest, threatened him. No, Dean, stop. Jack shouted and caught the blade with his bare palm. Lucifer stepped back little and even stared the man in angry eyes. This man was so dangerous. Drop the blade, the cop lady shouted as she drew out her gun and directed at Dean. Dean, what are you doing? Sam was shocked as well. He's harmless, Dean, Jack stopped him. He's not a bad man, not mean. He's a good guy, he insisted, holding the blade that now had bled him. That's why I went to him. I need him. Dean frowned. Looked at the kid like being cheated. Over us. I can tell everything. Dean dropped the blade, please, Jack pleaded. Dean went to think. He looked to the tall man who gave him sharp aware eyes and the cop lady who was ready to shoot him, then back to Jack. Dean saw the blood had dripped from the boy's palm. Drop the blade, Dean, Sam asked softly. Dean listened to his brother, and slowly drew his blade from the man. Everybody sighed in relief. Jack hissed from the wounds. You hurt, Jack, Lucifer reacted and gave the boy his handkerchief. Look, what have you done? He snapped to the short guy as he wiped Jack's palm. Thank you, Jack smiled sheepishly. It will heal, Dean protested. Lucifer glared at him disbelief for the insensitive attitude. No, it's okay, Jack stopped Lucifer to attack Dean. Dean's right, it will heal, he showed his palm and in a minute, the wound disappeared without a scar. Lucifer saw in amazement, you healed yourself, like me, another proved. He smiled proudly as he looked at Chloe like saying, he's really my son. Chloe was still shocked by what she saw, she just nodded. He's your son, she hefted her gun back. Yes, I am, Jack brushed his palm. Dean gave, sorry for that, kid, now he felt guilty. We came to make sure you are okay, not in trouble, not in danger, and to get you home, Jack, Sam said. I know, Sam, but I'm okay, Jack smiled sweetly. I'm not in trouble, not in danger, but I can't go home. Not now. Why not? Dean asked curiously. Because my cousin is missing now. He was kidnapped, demons took him, so we need to find him fast. And hopefully, you two can help us too. He's half angel and half human too, Jack smiled excitedly. Dean and Sam froze and frowned. Demons, cousin, another Nephilim, oh, great. The man looked at Dean. If you promise there's no blade or gun involved directed on me, you may come up with us, he said coldly. Come up where? Heaven, Dean almost mocked. Lucifer sighed, not heaven, my penthouse, he grunted irritated. And I can tell everything there, Jack added, convincing Dean and Sam. Come on. We're running out of time, Lucifer walked off to the elevator. We are on tickling time, we're dealing with demons here. Chloe followed him and went inside the elevator. Sam and Dean were still standing, hesitated and looked at Jack as he followed them to get in the elevator. They looked at each other. Sam, Jack tried to call, the elevator's door was still open. Sam looked at Dean to think about it, and finally, Dean walked to the elevator and went inside with Sam followed behind. As the elevator's door closed, Lucifer sighed, this will be much interesting. He peeked at the two dirty flannel shirt guys before him, and they seemed to haven't slept and showered. They all went upstairs. The tents filled the elevator. Dean held his duffel bag tight in his armpit, keeping the angel blade secretly in his hand, just in case. Stuck in the small cubicle with this stranger, Lucifer still needed precaution for a sudden ambush. He still hadn't believed in this tall man, especially a man with a British accent. Remember British end of letter, worst nightmare. Dean glanced at Lucifer and peeked at the detective, but the woman stared at him with caution, her hand was ready at her gun. Dean swallowed and turned his head back. Sam wasn't better either. This new version of Lucifer still made him nervous. Even Jack kept smiling at Sam and insisted to him, it's okay, he's a good man. The man really looked dandy and fancy. He could smell the man's perfume filling the small elevator, but he could smell strong booze and cigarettes from the man's breath either. Worse than Dean. Sam took a deep sigh, and hoped it was right following them, and maybe could answer this mystery of another alternate universe. The elevator seemed to move up slowly, and it did pass many floors. Which floor they're going to? Ding! Finally, Dean sighed in relief. The elevator's doors were open, and Lucifer went out in no time and took the fresh air as much as he could from his lovely penthouse. Jack followed behind, still with his smile. Hesitated. Dean walked out of the elevator and scanned the room. It was large, looked luxurious, and obviously on the top of the building, and it was with classic style, yet still with the high-class furniture. Sam followed behind Dean after the detective nodded for him to walk out. His eyes wiped the room speechless, then with one conclusion: this Lucifer was very rich. Sam glanced at Dean, who was still amazed. His brother's eyes widened by the large bright light of liquor's case on the wall. Wow! Dean stared at the liquor wall. Be my guest, please be seated, Lucifer said as he walked to the bar. Dean and Sam exchanged looks, then looked at Jack, who nodded with his soothing smile. Bourbon, Lucifer offered behind the bar. Dean nodded and put his duffel bag on the floor before sitting on the couch. Sam sat beside him. Jack sat across them, still with his exciting smile. The boy looked so happy with their present. Great place you have here, Dean commented. Yes, thank you, Lucifer responded. I have a nightclub downstairs too, feel free to come. Lucifer walked back with 4 small glasses, and a bourbon bottle. He filled them all and passed it to Sam, Dean, and Jack. Dean was lightened up with the words. A nightclub, you mean, nightclub. He made it sure. Yes, nightclub, with booze, music, dancers. My lux. Dean's brain went play. Did it require stripteases? Dean. Sam was shocked by Dean's dirty mind. Yes, of course, we have it all, Lucifer smiled proudly. Dean smiled, daydreamed with the hot striptease dances in his head. Dean. Sam shouted a little to bring Dean back to reality. Dean gasped and went red for his obvious dirty mind. He took the glass and cheered it before drinking it awkwardly. Sam smiled, felt embarrassed and took the glass as well. Lucifer was stunned by the weird personality of this Dean. But he just smiled politely. What a unique human. Jack was almost excited when he took the glass too. But Dean stopped him in sudden. No, Jack, no booze, you are still underage, Dean warned with the father's tone. Jack stopped, but I drank beer. You let me drink beer, right? He protested. Yes, beer, not liquor. It's different. Jack bit his lips and looked at Sam for some side. But Sam nodded and asked Jack to do what Dean was told. Jack sighed disappointed and nodded before putting the glass back to the table. Lucifer was almost shocked by the family drama, and how strict this man was to his son. He felt something inside, like protesting. How dare you tell Lucifer's son? He almost spoke up to defend his boy, when Chloe stopped him. He's right, Lucifer, Jack is still too young to drink. Parents need to be strict for the good thing, right? Chloe gave an insisted eye to the man she loved for not starting the argument and nodded with a smile to the brothers who practically raised the boy. Lucifer bit his lips and took Chloe's eyes thoughtfully. He gave in, and nodded, sure, I understand, for the good thing. I have soda for you, Jack. He stood up and went to the bar, then went back with a bottle of soda for Jack. Thank you, Jack replied sheepishly. Lucifer just nodded, and inhaled. All right, let us think something, how to find my nephew. Sam glanced at Dean, then back to Lucifer. Okay, can we know the story about the kidnap? We might help. We might. Dean glanced at Sam with a questioned look. Sam gave him an insisted eye. Dean sighed, not protesting. Lucifer looked at Sam, then Jack, who nodded with an insisted smile, then Chloe, who shrugged. Before back to Dean, he took a deep breath. Well, short story, a bunch of demons took my brother's son. Dean went alert with Lucifer's brother, Michael. He assumed. What? No, not Michael, Lucifer chuckled. It's Amenadiel. Both Dean and Sam frowned by the name. Amenadiel. We never heard him before, Sam spoke. Yes, I know. Jack had told us, Amenadiel didn't exist in your universe, Lucifer waved his hand. But he is my brother. He has a son with a human mortal woman, and now the baby is gone. Another Nephilim, Dean made sure. If you said so, Lucifer replayed. Both Dean and Sam sighed and took a glance at Jack. All right, Sam nodded, and why would demons take your brother's son? To take my attention, of course. Lucifer's voice rose. They are all a bunch of dirt who are rebelling on me. They walk on earth. I've told them to go back to hell, but this is what they did. He almost lost his temper. He then took a deep breath and sipped his glass to control it. And now still no news from my brother and Maze. Perhaps I should get them here as well. Maze? Dean asked with a questioned look. Lucifer's best girl, Chloe answered. Ah. Dean nodded. Ding. The elevator's doors were open. Luce, thank God you're here. Something awful has. Dean and Sam watched a girl storm out with a panic voice. Lucifer stood up and showed his unpleasant face for the girls coming. Not now, Eve, we are dealing with our own situation. It's about Kinley. Both Lucifer and Chloe froze and looked at Eve. Sam, Dean, and Jack paid attention to the three of them. Or at least the body formerly known as Kinley anyway, Eve continued. Chloe stood up and approached the girl. What do you know about that? I was the one who broke him out of jail, Eve confessed in fear. Lucifer and Chloe were even shocked. Yeah, Eve gulped nervously. And then he attacked me. So I killed him and then, I sort of summoned a demon from hell into his body. What? Lucifer widened his eyes and couldn't believe what he just heard. It seemed like a good idea at the time, Eve defended. I thought maybe he could convince you that the prophecy was nonsense, you know. Lucifer chuckled sarcastically, but he wouldn't budge. Eve tried to continue. And then he gave me this idea that maybe if I could get you out of here, back to hell, that everything would be good again. Chloe shook her head with the story. The girl had gone too far. I didn't mean for anyone to get hurt, Eve tried to defend. Especially not that poor little baby. That's my nephew, Eve. Lucifer lost his anger. Eve, how could you do this? Chloe stormed off. How could you be so selfish? Naive. Where's the baby now, Eve? Lucifer asked. I don't know, Eve almost cried for regrets. I don't know. They were in a church and they knocked me out. And by the time I came to, they were gone. The church? Why would they take the baby to the church? Lucifer frowned, but then he remembered something. He rushed to his bedroom and checked his briefcase. Chloe followed behind in question. Not surprisingly, the briefcase on the hidden wall was already forced open. Lucifer. Chloe gasped in shock. Something missing. Lucifer looked at the briefcase. Cash is all here, but yeah, the vial's gone. He went to think. Kinley's vial. You kept that. Chloe protested. Cut him. Lucifer sighed. Well, I didn't think it was something I could just toss down the drain, he defended. I was gonna chuck it out with my spent batteries. But what would they want with the vial? Chloe wondered. Lucifer gasped. With one possible plan. They're not trying to get back at me. They're trying to replace me. What? Chloe was shocked by the plan. How could they possibly do that? Hell was built so that no demon could take control of the throne. Only a celestial could rule, an angel, but I suppose half an angel would do. Baby Charlie, Chloe nodded for the possible. Since I refuse to return, it seems they're intent on raising their own king, Lucifer made some conclusion. Chloe sighed. Okay, all right, if they took the vial, they're probably planning on performing the same ceremony that Kinley was gonna perform on you. On me, Lucifer finished it in shock. Yes, Chloe nodded for sure. Sam, Dean, and Jack kept watching Lucifer and the detective. They heard everything from behind, even they didn't know who this girl was. Eve looked at the three stranger guys sitting on the couch. Who are you? The three of them looked back at the new girl. Jack smiled. I'm Jack, I'm Lucifer's friend. And these are Sam and Dean Winchester, my brothers. Even though they were surprised by Jack's introduction of them, both Dean and Sam just nodded with a smile to the girl. Eve nodded with a smile. I'm Eve. Sam frowned in surprise. Eve, as the Eve of Adam. Eve nodded in surprise. So you know, he's the real Lucifer. Yes, we know, Jack nodded. Ow, good, then. Eve nodded with gladness. I'm Lucifer's first love too, she blushed. Sam and Dean were stunned in surprise by the news. That was the first time we heard. The brother exchanged surprise was cut by Lucifer and Chloe went out and rushed from the bedroom. So, come on, tell us, detective, once you'd served up this holy, anointed sedative, where was this ceremony to take place, back when you wanted me in hell? Lucifer's tone sounded like accusing. Chloe, who followed behind him, stopped and felt offended. Well, as you know, I didn't go through with it. Lucifer swallowed hard. I know he mentioned a church, Chloe continued. Great, Lucifer sighed. So, there's what, only 3,000 of those in LA. Chloe tried to remember something. He said specifically that it had to be a house of worship, but also a den of sin. One of the demons mentioned something about one of those old civilizations. Eve tried to speak. Aztec or Inca? Chloe went to think. She checked her phone and watched again the last video of Hala before he was stabbed. You think they could be going to one of those ancient temples where they used to have human sacrifices? Eve wondered. Chloe showed the phone to Lucifer and Eve. Hala on phone, love him. Listen, I used to hate him. But we're gonna make an announcement about my tour kicking off tomorrow night at the Mayan. The Mayan, that's it, Eve shouted as she got the place's name. Okay, it's a venue. Rents to concerts, and also, I think, church groups. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, and my dad, Lucifer continued in fear. That sounds like the oxymoronic venue we're after. It's gonna be empty and available. Especially since Hala isn't playing there tonight, Chloe concluded and stormed to the elevator. Eve rushed followed behind, but Lucifer stopped her as he walked behind the detective. You stay here. You've done enough. But, Eve frowned in protest. Wait, we're coming too. Jack stood up. We are. Again Dean gave a protested look. Jack turned to Dean and nodded for insisting, then back to Lucifer. We can help. Lucifer nodded. Fine. Jack smiled happily and followed his father. Dean sighed. He grabbed his duffel then stood up to catch up with Jack. Sam gave a glance with sorry eyes at the girl, as he followed his brother to the elevator. At the Mayan club, the baby Charlie laid on the circle table altar, crying for hunger. If I wanted to hear screaming, I would have stayed home, Squee said in disgust. He's just a hungry boy, Dromos replayed. Idiot, it's way too hot, he shouted at the demon woman who made the milk. We don't wanna burn our itty-bitty new king. Dromos brushed the baby's cheek gently. Just let it cool, he's just not used to the heat yet. Yeah, SSHH. Alright, is there anything I need to know about how to fight a demon? Chloe asked as they walked together approaching the Mayan club. Well, you can hold this. Sam gave a demon blade to the detective. Lucifer glanced at Sam, and sighed. Not really, just that they are super strong, scary, and mean. Like Maze. Except these ones don't feel pain cause they're only renting their bodies. Great, the good news is, they're killable. It just requires a little extra oomph. But you don't need to worry about any of that since you're not going inside. He took the blade from Chloe and gave it back to Sam. Chloe frowned in protest. Oh, yes, I am. Demons are no demons, there's no way I'm not helping, she insisted. Lucifer sighed. Need I remind you, detective, it's actually less helpful if you're there. You make me vulnerable, remember? But I don't. They jumped with another coming. Eve. You're supposed to be at the penthouse, Chloe protested. Right, Eve gulped, but I needed to apologize for all of it, and everything I've put you through, she sniffled. But I realize you're not this perfect guy the first made you out to be. You suck at apologies, Lucifer responded. Eve chuckled. What I mean is I thought I wanted you, but I realize I've just been missing the person I used to be when I was with you. Dean watched the romantic scene and glanced at Sam. Never thought Lucifer will have this cheesy flick chick moment, he whispered at his brother. Sam chuckled a little. This is one kind of Lucifer we ever met. Dean nodded. Interesting one. Sam nodded and agreed. Jack heard both brothers talk and whispered to them, I told you, he's different. Both Dean and Sam just smiled. But you still owe us, why are you looking for him? Dean reminded the boy. Yes, Jack nodded. They were back watching the romantic movie. Well, I hope you find what you want, Eve, Lucifer said. But I really wish you'd had this epiphany before you let demons loose on Los Angeles. You and me both. Look, I understand that there's nothing I can do to make up for what I've done. But I'm gonna have to try. So, that's why there's nothing you can do to stop me from going in there, Eve insisted. Lucifer and Chloe exchanged looks for consider. Very well, Lucifer gave in. We'll just have to wait for my brother and Maze to arrive. Just in time, a winged creature landed with a woman in his arms. Dean and Sam almost jumped with their present and saw the big wing. Wow. Amenadiel, Maze, Jack called with enthusiasm. So this is Amenadiel, Dean whispered to Jack. Jack nodded. What are you doing here? Maze asked displeased at Eve. Yes, Lucifer told us what you did, Amenadiel as much as displeased. All right, put your claws away, Lucifer cut them. There's no time for that. We need all the help we can get. Amenadiel braced up. You all ready? Lucifer asked. Yes, all of them answered. Okay, let's go in. Lucifer commanded and walked in lead the pack. They were all followed behind, included Chloe. No, Chloe, you stay here, please, Lucifer stopped her. Chloe froze. Lucifer nodded and walked again to the entrance. Chloe stayed where she stood. Dean took a glance at the detective. He went back and gave her his demon blade. Here, take this, it can kill any demon, trust me. Chloe took it. Okay, thank you. Dean nodded then rushed to catch the group. It felt like they were facing the mean Michael. Went to war. Alright, here we go again. Dromos took the milk bottle from the demon woman and checked the temp. Just right. He sighed satisfied. He opened the bottle as well as he opened the vial, and poured the essence from the vial to the baby bottle, then ready to feed the baby. Dromos. Lucifer's voice came through and sudden, with his cheeky laugh, stopped the demon feeding Charlie. Dromos head up and saw the line of intruders like some kind of heroes who want to rescue the baby, stopping his ritual. He noticed it was Lucifer, Eve, Amenadiel, Mazikeen, and Eva, but 3 other lads, he never saw before, with one of them looks like a teenager. Surely you've heard, the breast is best. Lucifer continued with his strong and loud voice. Dromos laughed. Now, you see, the thing is, I don't take orders from you anymore. Lucifer glared but kept his rage. Jack glanced at his father and saw him still trying to calm. But he knew it would be off. For him, there were 6 demons, around the altar with the baby on it. It's Charlie, his cousin. Not since the whole abdication thing, Dromos glared. So, long live King Charlie. He's gonna be a hell of a ruler. Pun intended. Because I am gonna mold him into exactly what I want. Now, you gotta admit you've been a bit of a selfish king, keeping the whole earth thing to yourself, Dromos shouted. Give me my son, Amenadiel shouted back in anger. Over my dead body, Dromos chuckled. Oh, that's right. It's already dead. So, you're gonna have to get creative, he challenged them all. Well, that was the sign. Everybody gear up and ready to attack. Jack took a deep breath. So this was it. It felt like when they were ready to attack Michael on the plaza, just 4 of them. Mazikeen made a first move stepping up, Amenadiel followed behind. The demons went forward one by one, ready to fight. In seconds, it's all chaos. Dean and Sam joined to fight with them. Dromos smiled at Lucifer, he looked at the baby and took him carefully. Come, my king. Lucifer was boiling in anger, he went forward to the altar. Jack followed behind his father. I wouldn't come any closer if I were you, Dromos warned the Prince of Hell. 2 demons that were guarding Dromos attacked Lucifer from both sides. Lucifer defended back. You are gonna pay, Dromos, Lucifer gritted in anger. Really, my money's on me, pal, Dromos smiled mockingly. You're getting soft, he kept mocking. Getting all mushy with the humans. It's disgusting. The 2 demons attacked again and fought with Lucifer. But Jack knew best. He pulled out his power and easily waved his hand away to the demons from his father and sent them to the far side. Jack threw his demon blade to one demon, and stabbed right to his chest, killed the demon. Jack pulled out his blade from the dead chest back to his hand with his power, and threw it again to the other demons, making both of the demons death in one blink. Dromos was shocked by the action, especially when he saw the blade was pulled out again, and flew back to its owner, to the teenager's hand. Dromos looked at the kid. Did he just did that? Kill them, and the boy's eyes were bright yellow. What creature is he? A monster. Lucifer was surprised as well. He never thought the kid, his son, would be this skilled. Wow, you have some moves there, son, he smiled, praising him still in shock. That was new, even for him as Lucifer. Jack just shrugged with a little smile. Who the hell are you? Dromos yelled in fear and anger. Jack turned back to Dromos, I'm Jack. My son, Lucifer finished it with pride. Dromos was even shocked. No way Lucifer has a son. But the boy had just killed his fellows, no doubt he would be next. Time to run. He wrapped the baby in his arms, and was ready to storm out. Jack saw the big demon ready to take off. He raised his hand and squeezed it a little that affected the demon choked. Dromos's eyes shocked as he felt something was pulled out. His was. The boy had forced him out from the dead Kinley's body. Jack even squeezed his hand slowly and pulled the demon out from the vessel. Dromos even choked out. He tried to hold him down on the vessel but failed. He could feel his black soul slowly fly out from Kinley's mouth. Watching Dromos struggling for his vessel and losing the grab of the baby who had already cried, Lucifer ran to him and caught Charlie before fall. I got you, baby, shish, Lucifer soothed the baby gently. Then he went back to Eve as Jack was still trying to rip off Dromos. Here, take Charlie out, he handed the baby to Eve, then turned to Jack. Go with Eve, Jack, protect her. What? Jack lost his concentration, and the demon failed to force out. The black smoke went back into the vessel. Go find your cousin's safe place, or take him to Chloe. I'll take care of Dromos, Lucifer glared at Dromos who was panting. Jack looked at Eve, who was holding the baby, wrapped in her arms. He then glanced at the demon, who was smiling in pain but relieved he could keep the vessel. Jack nodded. "Oak, now, run, both of you," Lucifer shouted. With that, Jack and Eve rushed to the exit door, to find Chloe or find some safe place. Dean saw Jack run off covering Eve and the baby. A demon tried to chase them, and with a second, Dean threw his blade to the demon and right stabbed on the back neck, killing the filthy thing in an instant. Lucifer watched amazed. He looked at Dean and smiled thrilled, then he was back to Jack, who already disappeared behind the exit door. "Well, yes, we knew where the boy learned a good throw," Lucifer sighed, then turned his attention back to Dromos, ready to finish this douchebag of a demon. The fight kept continuing. Each had one demon to face. Dean and Sam kept fighting and stabbed, but it seemed it was never-ending demons, they kept showing up. It's like a deja vu, like they were fighting Michelangel's squad at the plaza back then. It will be a long fight. Jack crept out with Eve holding baby Charlie saved and fussing in her arms. "Shish shish 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 shish. It's okay," she soothed him. As they stepped out the building's door, Jack pulled out his marker and kneeled to draw a demon's trap on the floor right before the door. "Give me the baby." Eve jumped with a demon before her. Jack looked up and stood up, facing the demon. Eve hugged Charlie even tight. Jack went up before Eve and his cousin, covering them. "Stay away, boy," the demon smiled evilly, with threatening eyes. "No," Jack shook his head. The demon was surprised by the boy's bravery, and ready to punch, but Jack just waved his hand and threw the demon to the far side. "Wow, good throw," Eve commented. "Yeah," Jack just smiled, "come on." He led Eve to walk. To their surprise, another door was kicked open and showed another demon before them. Jack sighed and ready to throw again. But a rain of bullets came, shooting the demon. The hot bullet went through the body but didn't kill him. Jack took this chance to pull out the demon from the vessel. And without a distraction, he successfully forced the demon out. Chloe stunned with an open mouth, watching the boy sucking the demon out. "Wow," she breathes out. "Detective," Jack exclaimed happily as the detective finally came. "Here, take Eve and Charlie," Jack handed Eve to the detective. "What?" Chloe frowned. "Wait, you're hurt, Jack, the bullet came through you." She saw the bullets were on Jack's body. His shirt was also sustained with blood. "Are you okay?" Chloe became concerned and worried. "If something happened to Jack, Lucifer will be mad." "Yes, I'm okay, detective. Don't worry, the wound just temporary, and no, I'm not hurt," Jack calmed her with a soft smile. "Ow, yes," Jack nodded convincingly. "Now, please, take Eve and Charlie with you, now," Lucifer said. "Find Charlie a safe place, and I need to go back inside." Chloe was stunned, but when it was Lucifer's order, she nodded. "Ok sir, come Eve," she led Eve to take off. But suddenly, a demon who was being thrown by Jack showed up again and blocked their way. To their surprise, the demon hit Eve and kicked the detective. But Chloe was holding up and pulled herself up. She kicked the demon's dick, but the demon was standing still and ready to hit again. Jack saw that. His anger rushed up. "Stop." He blinked and it happened. Like a poof. Ow. Both Chloe and Jack jumped in shock. The demon just disappeared before, leaving black smoke and a circle of ash on the floor. What has just happened? Where did the demon go? Chloe turned around and saw Jack smiled sheepishly. "Did you just do that?" Jack shrugged. "I'm sorry, I was snapped. But he hit you, it's so unacceptable," he tried to defend. Chloe swallowed hard. What kind of power does this kid have? Dank, so powerful. She looked to Eve, who was as shocked as well. She smiled back at Jack and nodded. "Thank you." Jack nodded. "Ow, now go two of you, save Charlie first," he pushed them gently. Oak. Chloe nodded and took off with Eve and Charlie. Jack sighed, watched them leave, then turned his back. Back inside the club, they had successfully killed all the demons, leaving one stand leader, Dromos. He was now surrounded by Lucifer. Amnadiel and Mazikeen stood on the altar, while Dean and Sam stood out the altar. "There's no one left, Dromos. Party's over. I think it's time you went home." Lucifer pulled out his suit and rolled up his sleeves. "Make me," Dromos smiled mockingly. Amenadiel and Mazikeen went to Dromos both sides, holding his hands. "Very well." Lucifer glared in anger, his eyes turned red as he pulled out his blade directed to Dromos's neck. Jack saw it and ready went up the altar joining them, but Sam stopped him. "No, it's too personal for Lucifer, let him do it." Jack nodded and watched with them. Lucifer was ready to slit Dromos's throat. "You'll die, Dromos." Dromos smiled, challenging Lucifer. "Oh, look who's here." Dromos smiled winningly with eyes went behind them. Lucifer was stunned, and everybody looked over to Dromos's eyes. "Detective," Lucifer almost shouted. "What are you doing?" He descended the altar, approached her. Chloe showed up with pleading and scared eyes. "I'm sorry. I know it sounded like everything was okay. I just wanted to make you all right." "Are you all right?" Lucifer's anger raised. "You need to leave, detective. He doesn't need a distraction on what he was going to do, not when it could make him vulnerable." Chloe sighed. "I know. I make you vulnerable." "No, that's not it. I don't want you to see me like this. I know it scares you." "No, Chloe cut him. "That's what I was trying to tell you. I'm not afraid of you anymore." "You're not." Lucifer looked surprised. Chloe shook her head. Dromos sighed in disgust. "You see, this is what I'm talking about. It's so sweet, I'm gonna puke." Everybody ignored the demon. "Well, then, why have you been so worried?" "Worried about my face, about all of it coming back." Lucifer didn't understand. "I wasn't afraid of you," Chloe told him. "I was afraid of losing you. That all this will take over, you'd forget about this place, and in that you'd forget about me." "Lucifer, They were shocked by the ambush of demons entering the club. A lot of demons. "Dean, Sam," Jack yelled. Once again Dean and Sam fought the sin creatures. But they were all outnumbers. Some demons already grabbed Chloe. Other demons reached the altar, tried to save their leader. "Detective," Jack screamed and tried to save her. He pulled out his power and threw the demons as much as he could. But still, the demons seemed so much stronger and violent than before. He went in panic and didn't know what to do. "It's amazing how many demon souls you can suss from a little church confessional," Dromos smiled winningly. Jack lost it as the demons got the detective. "Help, help," Chloe shouted in fear. Lucifer grabbed Chloe's hand to keep her, but the demons pulled her hard. "Pull," the demons shouted. "Lucifer, no," Chloe screamed. Lucifer saw it already out of control. And it was only him who could stop this mess. He pulled back and stood on the altar. He took a deep breath, and "Enough," Lucifer yelled pantingly in a demonic voice, as he pulled out his big red wings and changed all his form, in big red devil body and scary face, the true form of Lucifer. Everybody froze. Dean gasped and Sam went pale by the form. They even never saw this before, not with their version of Lucifer they knew. Jack was stunned by the changed form of his father, and didn't leave his eyes on him. It was him, the form Jack saw in his dream. The true form of his father, the true Lucifer form. And his voice was echoing through the building, chilling the air. Lucifer ripped out his last shattered garment on his body in anger. "You bow down, now. To your king." All the demons reluctantly bowed. Even Dromos. Lucifer breathed heavily and looked at his children. "You do not belong here. Go home." With that, all demons left the vessel in one blink, making the bodies slurp down on the floor unconscious. Dean, Sam, Chloe, and Jack gasped, as they were still standing in shock, looking at the red devilish scary creature. They still could hear his demonic voice echoing through the room. Nobody could ever erase that. Lucifer looked back at the woman he loved and the kid he just met, his son. He finally showed his true face and form, no hide again. And how they reacted after this, he will face it, even if they choose to leave him. Slowly he changed his form, back to human again, and faced Chloe and Jack, expecting them to fear him. But surprisingly, they were both smiling at him, a soft and relieved smile. Dean and Sam exchanged looks when Jack smiled at his father. They didn't know yet what the purpose of Jack was looking for Lucifer. But even after the kid saw his true form of his father, and still okay with it, they felt something. Something they wouldn't like, and whatever it was, they have to accept it. Even if they were losing the kid. Jack sat before his father who was sitting elegantly on the couch with the wine in his hand, looking at him. His human face looked so thoughtful, but still, Jack couldn't read what his father was thinking about. It was the next day after they saved baby Charlie and Lucifer had finally kicked all the demons back to hell. It was supposed to be a victory, a happy moment, everybody was saved. But all Jack could see was the confusion and insecurity in Lucifer's face. Something's wrong. Lucifer studied the boy before him. After last night, with all the fighting and finally, he had to change his true form, Jack didn't even look scared at him. Hell, the kid even looked interested in him. And last night was something too. Not only they could fight and forced all the annoying demons back to hell, and saved baby Charlie, his cousin, but also he realized this boy was so special. How magnificent and powerful he has, but still, those eyes showed he was just a kid. A kid with excitement, and did he see his true form, not this human body? Didn't that scare him? The boy was still looking at him. So how's Charlie? Lucifer gasped with the teenager's voice, bringing him back from the thought. Well, he's saved now, he's back to his mother, and Amenadiel is with them right now. He nodded and felt so glad. Thanks to you, and your two brothers, Sam and Dean, Jack smiled proudly. Yes, your brothers, Lucifer smiled, and where are they by the way? He looked around. They are probably downstairs, at the club. Ah, yes, good for them, Lucifer smiled, fully understanding. Jack just nodded. Why did you drag me here, Sam? Dean felt so annoyed. Sitting in the bar with the wine and sexy ladies didn't feel right. Not right at the moment. You let Jack with Lucifer. To give them some private time. Hell, he was the one who should talk with us, Dean protested. He did, Dean. You heard Jack last night, he explained that he needs to meet the man. Yes, but why? Why did he want to meet Lucifer? Dean still didn't understand the kid. It's his father, Sam tried to be reasonable. Obviously, his father, Lucifer, Sam. And you know how Lucifer was. Maybe this is different, he's not like Lucifer we killed. I killed, Dean corrected. Yes, you killed, Sam nodded. And we didn't need another one. Enough, Dean snorted. And how it's no different, he continued. We saw him last night, he showed his true form, the real devil, Sam. I never saw that kind of scary red monster before, that was the real Lucifer, Sam. Sam swallowed hard, yes it was. But last night he fought the demons, and saved people. Because he's saving his nephew, his family. And now, that devil probably is sticking something in the kid's head, selling something, Dean snorted. Don't blame me if Jack got his toxicity. I knew the kid loves the shining things and new stuff, so don't blame, if he chose to live here with the man. I saw it last night, and the kid already admired this Lucifer. Sam bit his lips, he turned to his brother. Yes, he saw the two. But he tried not to believe it. Lucifer smiled, well, I'm sorry again to get you all involved in that situation. No, it's fine, we like to help, and it's part of the family too, right? Jack smiled sincerely. Lucifer was stunned and nodded, yes, of course, family, he smiled awkwardly. Jack nodded in relief. It's great, and last night was so cool, awesome. We kicked ass. Jack grinned in excitement. Yes, we did, Lucifer smiled. And you are kicked ass too, Jack. And your brothers, they are something too, he nodded for sure. It made him wonder how they all could fight like that, so bravely like a warrior. Jack, do you get into fights often? Oh, yes, we got into a fight a lot. We fight monsters, demons, and angels, Jack smiled proudly. Lucifer was stunned, angels. Yes, angels. Actually, we fought Lucifer and Michael too before, Jack continued. You do, Lucifer was surprised. You fought your universe Lucifer? Yes. And Dean killed him, Jack smiled for sure. Why did you fight him, Jack? He's your father. Yes, he's my father, but he was mean, not like you. He was. Lucifer got interested. So he showed his true form, the mean devil with the scary form as all humans believe. No, not with his scary form, Jack shook his head. He's still in human form, but he's a liar. He lied to me, he manipulated me, and he's using me. He wanted to change the world. Change the world into what? Lucifer went curious. I don't know, he just said, he wanted to create a new world. Lucifer went to think, well, maybe that is what I want too, change the world. So you never saw him change into scary form like I had last night? Jack shook his head slowly. Last night was the first time I saw the real Lucifer in real life. Lucifer was stunned. And how did you see me? He needed to hear it. Jack gulped. It was true then, just like in the book, like what people describe you. Lucifer bit his lips. He stared at the boy as the boy was still stared at him. He shrugged. Well, I conformed anything I like, just like what people imagined me, he defended. But, yes, still didn't look nice to see, I believe. Lucifer sighed, and to be honest, he doesn't like his true form too. Jack just smiled. Didn't it scare you? No, like I said, I have seen you before, in my dream, that's why I'm looking for you. I want to meet you. Okay, that made Lucifer confused. Why would you want to meet me? You met Lucifer before, he was mean, you didn't like him, and you fought him. Why do you want to meet another Lucifer? Because you are not like him. You are not mean, you are selfless, you are not a liar, you're a good man. Lucifer snorted with a cheeky smile. Well, you don't know that, Jack, you know nothing about me, he sipped his wine cockily. Yes, I do, Jack nodded for sure. And I know you are always trying to be good. You don't want to hurt people you love. And you are loved too. Everybody loves you. How did you know that? Lucifer got interested. I can feel it. And how you fought last night, saving and protecting people, told me everything. You are not like Lucifer I knew before. You're different. Lucifer bit his lips. The boy's words really got into him. And I need you, Jack added. Why would you need me? You have Sam and Dean. Aren't they loving you? Jack swallowed. Yes, they love me. Sam and Dean care about me a lot. And I love them too, but sometimes they are still scared of me. They don't believe me. He dropped his head. Because you are the son of Lucifer or because of your power? Both. Jack's voice was barely to hear. I have this power and they are scared that I can't control it, that I might accidentally hurt or kill people. And they scare that I will turn bad and evil. Jack finally let out his true feelings, as he had with Donatello. It was easier to talk with someone he knew exactly like him, who knew about the celestial power. Lucifer went silent. He stared at the boy. And how do you feel about that? Are you afraid that you might become like that? There's a pause. Sometimes, Jack has finally let it out. I've accidentally killed and hurt people before. But to be honest, I don't feel anything about it. I don't care if I turned bad or not. I just don't want to hurt people that could make Dean and Sam mad. I don't want to hurt their trust. But sometimes, I want to be good too, I do. Lucifer bit his lips, so complicated. He could feel Jack's need to share his feeling, wider and deeper, and he's not good at it. He sighed. Well, maybe you should talk to Linda, Jack. She's good at talking about things like this. She might help you. Is she an angel too? Jack got excited. No, she's human, Charlie's mother. But she helped me before, when I was in your situation. You had this feeling too? Jack was a bit surprised. Hell, yeah, Lucifer nodded for sure. But, not about being good or bad, but, he smiled little as he embarrassed something he had to admit. About what? Lucifer swallowed. A woman. The detective, Jack guessed. Lucifer was stunned. You knew. It's so obvious. Jack smiled. Lucifer smiled back. His mind went to Chloe, and recalled anything that happened last night. The fight and put Chloe in danger for his fault. And Chloe saw his rage and true form again. Obviously, that had scared her. Did she change you? Lucifer gasped at the boy's question. He looked up to the boy. What do you mean? Jack shrugged. I knew how people described you and made us believe that you were mean, selfless, bad, and worst, but you are not. Why was he different? Did someone make you being good? Like I have. Lucifer went silent. Maybe I love her. Maybe she changes me, he admitted. Weird, he felt uncomfortable now. But could we change the fate? Jack kept asking with his puppy eyes. And that was one hell of a question. That one really got into him. Lucifer looked up to the kid, and he just stared at him full of questions. I don't know why God created me, Jack continued. Why I have these powers, and I couldn't feel anything about it, but all I know, I have to contain my power so I don't hurt people. And I'm afraid I couldn't and I will fail Sam and Dean. Jack dropped his head again. Lucifer looked at the almost depressed kid. And to be honest, he sometimes felt depressed too. It was like a battle inside him. When he wanted to be good and acted being good, but he knew, it was not him before. He knew who he was, what his fate. He was Prince of Hell, King of the Demons, he ran the hell. Yes, maybe he could be good, acted being good, but he couldn't change his fate. And last night was the truth. His demons went to rebel and caused chaos on Earth. That was his fault. He put people in danger, and mostly he put Chloe, the woman he loves, in danger. So whether he liked it or not, he was still their king, king of demons. He sighed. Jack. Jack looked up. Lucifer stared at the kid. I know you need enlightenment, someone you can compare with the celestial stuff, and someone you can look upon as being bad or good. But I'm sorry, I'm not that person, Jack. You're right, we can't change fate. I'm Lucifer, and maybe I'm not exactly like what people describe me, but there's something I couldn't change. For who I am. I ran hell, my father sent me to hell. I have these demons to maintain and guard, that's my responsibility. And last night, was the hard slap to remind me of who I am. I can't leave hell. Jack went numb. He stared at his father and felt a bit disappointed. He went to look at his father, Lucifer, and proposed to help him learn how to be good and bad with these powers, and maintain his true identity on Earth with other people. But the fact was, his father was overwhelmed too, by the hell and demons, something he couldn't leave. You want to go back to hell? Jack asked. Lucifer nodded. I have to, Jack. Jack bit his lips. He went to think. This meat was supposed not to be nothing. His father was Lucifer, but he believed this Lucifer wasn't like the Lucifer he met before, and maybe he could still learn something from his father, from what he was. He smiled up. Can I come? That stunned Lucifer. He looked at the boy's eyes for sure. Where? Hell. Yes. Jack nodded for sure. Hell, no. Lucifer chuckled. Why not? And why would you? Lucifer frowned. Wanderer. Because I want to learn from you. Learn of what? How to be a Lucifer. No, learn how you maintain everything. I'm your son. You are supposed to teach me something, Jack insisted. Well, didn't Sam and Dean teach you anything? Yes, they teach me everything, but they are human, and I'm not. I'm half angel and half human, but it's hard to be human, act like a human. I need to learn something from my own father. Lucifer went silent. The boy got the point, and hell, he was so smart too. You think they would let you go? Jack was stunned and bit his lips. Jack is still with Lucifer. Sam started to feel uncomfortable. It's been hours. He looked around to the crowd in the busy club. Well, you're the one who let him with Lucifer having the private time, and dragged me here, Dean snapped back, and sipped his countless glass of wine. There was nothing wrong with sitting in a luxury club, with great liquors and sexy dancers. But having Jack with Lucifer this long, was so wrong. I don't know what they are talking upstairs, but it's itching me, Dean, Sam admitted. You tell me. Dean sighed. He felt the same. Could Jack chose the man over us? Sam asked worriedly. The question stunned Dean. Like what happened after we got out from the apocalypse world? Yes, Sam hated to think about it. Dean went silent. The truth, it did scare him. Having the kid with Lucifer. Again, would be bad news. He didn't know about this man. Was he good or bad? Was he using Jack or not? And he didn't want that to happen again. He sighed and rose from his seat. So this means we're taking him home, Sam, now. But as he turned around, the kid already stood before him, with concerned eyes. Sam turned his back. Jack. Dean nodded. Good. Well, you heard me, kid, you ready to go home, now? His voice was stern. Jack gulped. He looked up to Sam, then back to Dean. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm not going home. That stunned them, but not quite surprising. Dean looked to Sam and back to Jack. So, you're staying, and live here with Lucifer? Jack nodded. Yes, but not here. Sam frowned. Where? Jack swallowed hard. Hell. That even stunned them. Hell. The brothers didn't believe what they just heard. Yes, Jack nodded with an insistent smile. Why would you want to go to hell? Dean protested. Because Lucifer will go back to hell, and I'm going with him. Dean went furious. He shook his head. Hell, no. You are not going to hell. Where is he? Full of anger, he rushed to the elevator. Dean. Jack tried to stop him, but Dean already entered the lift and closed the door. Jack sighed. He looked at Sam before he disappeared in one blink. Jack. Sam gasped in shock. Damned. He rushed to find a way to go upstairs. Hey, what did you do to him? Lucifer turned around to see Dean had burst out from the elevator and shouted in anger at him. At first, he didn't quite understand what that's all about, but then Jack showed up from nowhere with a pleading face. What did you say to him? Inviting him to hell? Dean asked again. I did not invite him, Lucifer replied back. He volunteered to come with. He looked at the boy. Dean turned to Jack, and the boy nodded. Yes, I asked to come, Jack confirmed. Dean frowned. Why, Jack? Because I wanted to be him. I need to be him. Really? He's my father, Dean. Lucifer smiled proudly at his boy. Oh, yes, I know that. Dean snapped back in anger. Then you know why I should be with my father. Yeah, didn't you remember what happened when you were last with your father, Jack? Disaster. Dean had to remind the kid. He was using you, Jack, he put us in danger, and I had to kill him, to save you and Sam, then Michael wore me, he sneered. Lucifer was stunned by the news. So that was what happened with the other Lucifer. No wonder the brothers didn't look like him and were more scared and hated him. And to his surprise, the other guy, Sam, showed up from the stairs. Jack bit his lips. Well yeah, that was horrible, nightmares, and the worst thing that happened to them. He wouldn't forget that. It won't happen again, Dean. You don't know that Jack Dean sneered again. And hell, what is this universe? Suddenly you exist, forming into a good Lucifer. He was still furious. He turned to Lucifer. What are you planning, Lucifer? And was this part of God's plan? Dean Sam tried to calm his brother, but he knew it wouldn't be easy. Lucifer frowned at Dean. I'm not planning anything. Then he remembered Dean mentioned God. OWH, you knew my dad. He's a bit surprised. Bullshit, Dean snapped in anger. And yes, we know your dad, Chuck. He's a coward, letting his kids fight, letting the earth and the world collide, letting men fight each other on his name. Oh yes, we've met him. Dean let out his emotion, remembering when he first met God or God came to them. We don't have time for this. Come on, Jack, we're going home. Now Dean stated. And said no, Dean. Jack insisted. Dean stoned in disbelief, while Lucifer smiled with the boy's persistence. But he was even surprised about his father. So you met him? Well, you're not wrong, really looks like him. Lucifer smiled in discomfort. But wait, who's Chuck? He looked confused and looked at both Winchester. Sam sighed. He took Chuck's name as a vessel, he explained. Oh, Lucifer nodded. It's the truth. He snapped back in anger, feeling offended. I never lie. And about my dad, I don't know why this happened. This boy came to me out of nowhere, claiming to be my son, he scoffed. I didn't know I could have a son. But gladly I have, and he's willing to go wherever I go. Lucifer smiled satisfied. Dean absorbed Lucifer's words. Maybe he told the truth, and this universe is still a mystery. So why hell? Dean kept pushing. He still couldn't take it if Jack went to hell. Well, that's my place, Lucifer responded. I run hell, I'm sure you two know that. And after last night, I need to take care of something, so they won't be here again. You mean demons? Sam asked with anxiety. Lucifer turned to the tall guy, and dropped the tense, yes, he nodded elegantly. Dean turned to Jack, so you don't need to come. You're not going to hell, Jack. Yes, I am, Dean. I'm going with him. I need to be him, the boy stated in slower tone. Dean sighed desperately. Why the hell do you need him, Jack? He tried to understand. You have us, Jack. Yes, but you two are still scared of me. That stunned the brothers. They saw the sad face on the boy, almost desperate. No, we are not, Jack, Sam replied softly. We are not scared of you. Yes, you are. You're scared I'm using my powers, you're scared that I would hurt people, that I would accidentally kill someone. Well, that's normal, kid, Dean replied coldly. Dean Sam tried to calm his brother softly. Everybody would have that feeling, especially with what you are capable of, Dean kept continuing. But we can handle that, he dropped the tone. As long as you are not using your power careless, and not hurt people. But I did, Jack cut Dean's words. I hurt people, and almost killed her. I lied to you. Everybody was stunned, even Lucifer. Who, when? Jack gulped looking at Sam and Dean. Stacy, it was just a couple of days ago, the time when you asked me to go for groceries. I met these kids and made friends with them, but I hurt one of them. What did you do, Jack? Sam asked calmly. I accidentally stabbed her with the angel blade, as he turned to Sam. Sam frowned. Angel blade? Why would you use an angel blade, Jack? They are just human kids. Yes, and I wanna show them how to use it, to impress them. So you showed off to your new friends, and you lied to us. Dean's tone rose again, he just couldn't take what the kid just did. I'm sorry, I just want them to like me. But it turned out, I hurt them and they are scared of him now, they hate me. Yeah, that for sure, you dumb kid, Dean snorted. Jack went pale. Hey, Lucifer barked, you don't talk that to my son. He got enough hearing his son being interrogated like that. He's not your son, Dean talked back. You can't claim the son you just met yesterday. You didn't even don't know him. Hell, you didn't even exist in our world. Remember, you are the one who's coming into my world, Lucifer reminded Dean angrily. He's the one who came to me, he pointed at Jack. I might not claim him as my son, but he's the son of Lucifer. That's something you have to take, accept him for what he is. You can't contain him, guys, he's half angels, he has powers. Maybe he shouldn't live with you. So he should be with you. Dean cut him intensely. And you think we know nothing about his power? News flash, we have prepaid before he popped out into this world. He stated angrily. We were there when he was born, we were there when he learned anything about this world, about his power, and we were there when he broke down after he accidentally killed a man. And it didn't go well. We were always there for him. Not you. So don't act like a good father for him, 'cause you weren't there. Dean sneered emotionally, so pissed off. Sam gasped, holding his breath as Dean and Lucifer fought. Looking at them, like a fighting two fathers over their kid. Sam might fight with Dean for Jack, but facing Lucifer, even not Lucifer he knew, was still intimidating him, and he was hard to move or defend. Lucifer wide-eyed offensively. Hey, should I remind you again, we are from a different world. He defended. You did not exist in my world before, and I never knew I could have a son. So yeah, you all came as a surprise, and don't blame me that I wasn't there for him, he stated angrily. Jack dropped his head desperately. He heard everything, and that hurt him. He knew Dean was trying to show how they had tried to accept him, loving him and taking care of him, and Jack's so grateful for that, but right now, it wasn't what he needed. He gritted his teeth. Please stop, Jack almost whispered, not enough to stop the two grown men from arguing. Please, stop, he shouted and almost let out his uncontrollable power. The arguing stopped and both men looked at him with anxiety. Sam looked at Jack with concern. Jack. Jack's head up and looked at the three men. He stared at Dean and Sam. Dean, Sam, I know, you've done anything for me since I was born. Everything, taking care of me, loving me and trying to protect me, even you resurrected me from the dead. You do. Lucifer was surprised by another news, looking at Dean and Sam. Nobody seemed bothered, and I'm thankful for that, Jack continued. And I love you too, both of you. But, what I need now is to be with someone who is like me. Since I killed Michael and took his grace, I know something is wrong with me. I can't feel anything. I know I lost my soul and having this power without any soul, really scary for me. I tried to act like everything is normal, do as you said just to please you too, but it's gonna be a lie for me, and I'm afraid that I would fail you, disappointing you too. Jack paused. So I need time to learn how to control this, and learn from who I thought would know how to be me, he continued. From my father. Maybe that's why I found another Lucifer through my dream. Lucifer is different and opposite from what we knew when we met before. There's something I can learn from him. I'm my father's son, Lucifer's son, and I know it wasn't for nothing. Everybody went silent, sealed by the boy's most logical and almost depressed words. Nobody thought he would feel like that. It was like enlightenment heart to heart for Sam and Dean, to know what Jack kept from them. I'm sorry that you feel that, Jack. Sam felt guilty now. You should talk this with us, we can talk, we're family. I know, but I can't. You have so much burden to take care of, I don't want to give you more. Dean sighed. He tried to understand now. But honestly, it hurts to hear from his kid. Like he had failed to be a parent for Jack. So, what do you need now? Dean asked calmly. Jack smiled, and turned to Lucifer. I want to be with my father for a while, even if it has to come to hell. Lucifer smiled with heart whelmed. Dean looked at Lucifer and felt defeated. But again, this was what Jack wanted and needed, maybe he should grant it. He turned to Sam, for some help, but Sam didn't give him anything, but Dean knew his brother always wanted the best for Jack. And pushing the kid for something he didn't want, wasn't the best option. This was Jack, a kid with a soulless powerful creature. Who knew what might happen if he went upset? Then he turned to Lucifer. The tall cocky man looked at him calmly as he waited. Dean sighed. Fine, you can stay, and follow him, he let off his ego. Jack gasped in surprise, really? But he smiled with relief. Dean nodded, yes, but don't blame us if it doesn't go like you expect. You are not a baby anymore. And the bunker is always your home. Yes, Jack nodded. And you? Dean went back to Lucifer. He's a good kid, so don't throw him to a shit. Lucifer just nodded, I'll try not to. Dean didn't respond. He was still fighting to let Jack go. But it will be useless to argue with the kid and this cocky man. Guess, there's nothing he could do now. He turned to Sam, who gave him a sad and defeated face, but knew that was the best for now. Dean nodded. He took a deep breath. Okay, so there's nothing we could do again, we shall leave then. He grabbed the duffel bag. Jack frowned. Wait, just like that. He's disappointed they're leaving soon. What, do you want us to stay here, and wait for you? Or watching you fly down to hell? No, Dean stated for sure. Jack gulped and nodded. Dean approached the boy and grasped the kid's cheek warmly with his big hand, and looked at those eyes closed. Jack was locked by Dean's eyes. He expected Dean to say something, but nothing. He just stared at him with his soft and concerned eyes. Somehow, Jack knew what that look meant. He just nodded, whatever it meant. Dean nodded and took a deep breath before letting the kid go. Jack sighed hard. He watched Dean walk straight to the elevator. Strange, he quite felt something inside. Almost couldn't breathe, but before he knew what was, Sam was already standing before him and hugged him. "Take care, Jack," Sam whispered. Jack hugged back, and nodded, "I will." Sam nodded, and let him go. He followed Dean, who was already on the elevator with the door still open, waiting for him. Jack watched them leave. That feeling was even stronger, sucking his breath as Dean didn't leave, his eyes staring at him in sadness like it was hard to let him go. "Don't worry, I'll take care of him," Lucifer shouted with a wide smile as he broke the cloud before the rain poured down. He wasn't blind, he captured the scene. He knew both Winchester was really hard to let the kid go, like a parent losing their kid. But that is so understandable. Apparently, they were Jack's parents, so he knew how they felt. And Jack, it seemed hard to see them leave, but he kept it strong. "You sure you don't want to go with them?" he asked slowly. Jack shook his head and kept staring at the elevator until the doors closed and Dean and Sam went down. Jack took a deep breath and turned to his father with a wide smile. "So, when are we gonna leave?" Lucifer gasped at the kid's smile. "Well, I should talk to Chloe first. And that wouldn't be easy too," he sighed and prepared for the emotion he would feel. SPN. The elevator landed in the basement. The boys stepped out in mixed feelings and emotions. They went to the car in silence. No one was talking. There's no need. They both had a hard time taking this. To face that they might lose Jack forever. Something they couldn't fight, even with any spell. SPN. Lucifer heard the elevator's door open. He heard the steps approaching him as he stood on the balcony waiting for her to come. "So, Charlie is back with Linda and Amenadiel. So, you know, it's over." Lucifer heard her sweet voice. He tried to gather his strength to tell her. "Isn't it? Is it over?" "I'd say yes, detective, but I'd be lying." He spoke very carefully and turned around to face the woman he loved. "And we both know I don't do that. For now, we won, but we just plugged one hole in a very flimsy boat. Now the demons know I have no intention of returning, they'll continue to defy me. It's only a matter of time before they come back to Earth. Who knows where next? Or maybe they'll just come back for Charlie, or maybe you." Chloe nodded and tried to see where this led. "I see. So what are you saying?" Lucifer sighed, looking at her eyes. "I have to go back." Chloe bit her lips. "So for how long?" "Like, a couple weeks, or, you know, a month, or." Lucifer was panted, controlling his emotion. "You were right, about the prophecy, we did get it wrong." Chloe shook her head. "It is about hell coming to Earth," Lucifer kept talking. "And we may Avenue stopped it now, but for how long? I need to keep them contained. They must have a king." Chloe frowned and chuckled. "Number. No, she knew where this was going. "No, see, this is what I meant, Lucifer, when I said you can't leave me." Lucifer kept listening. "Listen, I'm so sorry that," Chloe continued. "How I acted when I first saw your face, it was stupid and please," she wept, almost whispering, "please don't go, I love you. I love you, please don't leave," she begged in tears. Lucifer swallowed his lump and smiled, so relieved, and this was gonna be even harder. "You see, we were wrong about something else in the prophecy." He approached her and wiped her tears. "My first love was never Eve." He caressed her soft cheek. "It was you, Chloe. It always has been." He could not hold it as he kissed her, so soft and full of emotion. He was so shattered, but he had to let her go. As hurt as the Winchester let their kid go. Chloe gasped as Lucifer let off the kiss. And she realized the new boy, Jack, Lucifer's son, had stood among them. "Please, don't go," she still begged. She could see tears in Lucifer's eyes as he stepped back to the balcony rail, and the boy stood beside him. Is the boy coming too? And yes, as Lucifer spread his white beauty wings, the kid spread his wings too. Chloe gasped in amazed by the two pairs of beautiful wings, but she knew what those wings mean. "Goodbye." Lucifer patted the wet and cold cheek once again, before he flapped his wings and took him to the sky. Jack gave a small little smile for a goodbye before he flapped and followed his father up. Chloe gasped in a broken heart. Left alone at the empty penthouse. not knowing when he would come back, or would he ever come back. Ended. Hope you like the video. Thanks you so much you watched till end. Subscribe to join our community and share with your partner and homies. If you don't have so same pick guys, I also don't have them. When I feel lonely I just join any random GC and talk with them, share my gossips, they every time sweet with me. So, if you join any GC then do my one work, please share my fiction stories there too. I hope you have a nice day. Nice to meet you. Don't forget me, bye.